There is a very specific kind of pain that only comes after a breakup. Not loud, not dramatic, just heavy. It shows up when the world goes quiet, when your phone doesn't light up anymore, when your body still expects someone who is no longer there. And the strangest part is this. Sometimes the relationship wasn't even good. Sometimes you knew it had to end, and yet the pain stays. You start asking yourself questions that don't have easy answers. Why does it hurt this much? Why does my chest feel tight? Why do memories replay without permission? Why can't I move on even when I want to? This video is not here to rush your healing. It's here to explain the pain. Quietly, honestly, and scientifically. Because breakups don't just hurt emotionally. They hurt psychologically. And once you understand why, the pain starts to make sense. We often treat breakups as emotional events, something that happens to the heart. But in reality, breakups are neurological events. They happen in the brain first. When a relationship ends, your mind doesn't register it as love is over. It registers it as loss, separation, and threat. You're not just losing a person. You're losing a source of safety, a routine, an emotional anchor. That's why breakup pain feels so deep, so personal, and so difficult to explain to others. Because what you're grieving isn't always visible. To truly understand why breakups hurt so deeply, we need to understand how the human brain forms attachment, and what happens when that attachment is suddenly taken away. Human beings are wired for connection long before they are wired for independence. From infancy, our nervous system learns safety through closeness. When someone responds to us, comforts us, stays present, our brain marks them as safe. Romantic relationships activate this same system. When you bond with someone, your brain begins to treat them as a regulation source. Their presence calms your nervous system. Their voice lowers stress. Their touch signals safety. Over time, your brain doesn't just associate love with that person. It associates emotional balance with them. This is why being with someone you love feels grounding. And this is why losing them feels Neuroscience shows that romantic attachment activates the brain's reward circuitry, particularly dopamine pathways. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's about motivation, focus, and reinforcement. Your brain learns. This person matters. This person is important. This person makes life feel better. When a breakup happens, dopamine levels drop sharply. What you experience isn't just sadness, it's withdrawal. This is one reason breakup pain can feel obsessive. Your brain keeps searching for the source of reward it lost. It replays memories. It checks old messages. It revisits familiar places. Not because you want to suffer, but because your brain is trying to restore balance. Oxytocin plays another role, often called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin strengthens emotional attachment and trust. It's released through closeness, intimacy, shared vulnerability. When oxytocin bonds break suddenly, the brain reacts with distress. That distress often feels like loneliness, emptiness, or longing. This is why even months later, a breakup can still ache, especially in quiet moments. There is also a pain processing component. Brain imaging studies show that social rejection activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region involved in physical pain. In simple terms, your brain experiences heartbreak as real pain. That tightness in your chest, that heaviness in your body, that fatigue you can't explain. They are physiological responses, not imagined ones. Another layer of breakup pain comes from identity disruption. In relationships, we slowly integrate another person into our sense of self. Plans become shared. Habits intertwine. Future images include us instead of me. When the relationship ends, the brain must suddenly update its internal map. Who am I without this person? What does my future look like now? What parts of myself existed only in this connection? This loss of identity often shows up as confusion, emptiness, or feeling lost. Not because you don't know who you are, but because your brain is rebuilding its sense of self. Attachment style also influences how deeply breakups hurt. Those with anxious attachment may experience intense fear of abandonment, emotional overwhelm, and difficulty letting go. Those with avoidant attachment may experience numbness, emotional shutdown, or delayed grief. Securely attached individuals still grieve, but the pain moves instead of stagnating. None of these responses are flaws. They are patterns learned early in life. Another reason breakups hurt so deeply is memory distortion. After loss, the brain often idealizes the past. You remember the good moments more vividly than the difficult ones. This isn't because the relationship was perfect. It is because the brain is trying to justify the attachment. This can trap people in longing, making it harder to detach emotionally. Healing begins when the brain slowly learns that safety can exist again without that person. This doesn't happen through force. It happens through repetition. New routines, consistent sleep, movement, gentle self-care. These small actions signal to the nervous system, I am safe. I am surviving. I am adapting. Over time, the brain rewires. The attachment loosens. The pain softens. Not because the love wasn't real, but because the brain learned to let go. Breakups hurt deeply because love changes the brain. It alters chemistry. It reshapes identity. It builds attachment. When that attachment breaks, the pain is not a failure. It's evidence of connection. If you're hurting right now, understand this. Nothing is wrong with you. You're experiencing a natural psychological response to loss. And while the pain may feel endless, it is not permanent. Your brain is already learning, already adapting, already healing. Even if it doesn't feel like it yet, one day the ache will become quieter, and in its place will be understanding, strength, and self-trust. If this video helped you understand your pain even a little, take a moment to breathe. You're not alone in this experience. If you want more calm, psychological reflections on emotional pain, attachment, and healing, subscribe and stay. And if someone you know is struggling through a breakup, share this with them. Sometimes, understanding is the first step toward peace.